Join me this week on Agio TV to see what happens when you have a spiritual awakening. Something really dramatic happens to people who visit sacred sites. For example, visit the Parthenon and feel a huge surge of energy. If you visit the pyramids and feel a shift in your consciousness. And when they go back, they try to share this experience with their friends. And I know from first-hand experience how dangerous that is. Even Plato, the Greek philosopher, spoke about it. He said that most people will consider you a little crazy. So you have to be very careful when you have a spiritual awakening, an enlightening experience, who and how to share it with them. There comes a moment when the curtain falls, when the noise, the plans, the voices, everything you once believed to be you begins to dissolve. And then suddenly you're left not with emptiness, but with an astonishing clarity. You actually realize that you were never asleep. You were simply dreaming of being someone. That's what awakening is. The end of the dream of separateness. But what follows is not always easy, because when you wake up, you also see how deeply others still sleep. The first wave after awakening is fire. An uncontrollable desire to tell the world what you've seen. You want to shout to everyone, there's nothing to fear, you're already free. But when you try to speak, your words fall like stones into a river, heavy, misunderstood, drowned by noise. Plato said that they will consider you crazy, because what you've discovered can't fit into language. And that's where the paradox begins. You've seen something infinite, and the infinite cannot really be expressed with words. Every awakened soul realizes this sooner or later, that truth is like light through glass, pure, invisible, and only known through reflection. When you try to describe it, you distort it. When you try to teach it, you lose it. Because awakening is not information, it's transformation. It's not what you know, it's what you become. The first thing never to share is your direct experience of awakening. Not because it's sacred or forbidden, but because it cannot be given. What happened to you was not an event, it was a shift in seeing. Now, to explain this to someone is to turn life into a story, being into memory. Those who haven't seen will not understand you, and those who have seen don't need your explanation. They'll simply nod in silence. Trying to tell someone about awakening is like trying to pour the ocean into a teacup. No matter how gentle your hands are, it will spill, it will overflow, and it will leave you both drenched in confusion. Your experience is vast. Theirs is still confined. So don't try to pour. Just be the ocean. They will realize it in their own time. Awakening lives between words, during the pauses, in stillness and silence, in the breath before speech. When you talk about it too much, it will lose its fragrance. But when you remain silent, others feel it through you. They won't know what you've realized. They'll just know that something in you has transformed. And it feels like peace. So every time you speak of awakening, remember, your words are only the finger pointing to the moon. The danger is that others become fascinated by your finger, your story, your technique, and they won't get to experience the moon itself. So point gently with modesty and pull out. Remove yourself. The second thing you shouldn't share are your methods. Now, I know I have the Agio method, but this is for the really basic level of clearing your fears. But it is not the actual experience of universal consciousness. For this, you must discover your own version of surrendering your ego. I offer self-hypnosis and guided meditation to help you relax deeply enough. But the experience will be yours when your ego and illusion is removed. The real teaching cannot be copied. It can only be called forth. And each person's consciousness is a different garden, if you like. Some flowers bloom under sunlight, others only in the rain. Now, your path may be sunlight. So let them find their own weather, their own soil. Wisdom grows in solitude, not with talking and explaining. After your awakening, you'll begin to see more clearly. You'll begin to see people's fears, their masks, and their false stories, and you'll have the temptation to save them. But truth revealed too soon is like light to a newborn's eyes. It can blind you instead of healing. Plato says it's like when you're exiting a cave that was very dark and you expose yourself to sunlight. It may burn your eyes. So you have to be very careful. You have to move carefully. And if you're trying to get someone else to have these spiritual experiences, you can't push it. You can't rush it. Imagine a butterfly struggling in its cocoon. If you tear it open, the butterfly will die because the butterfly's wings grow stronger through the struggle. It's the same when you see someone in pain and suffering. You have to let their suffering unfold. You have to allow it because this is how people awaken. They have to go in what the Greeks call katavasis. They have to descend into their own darkness. Once you've seen and experienced your connection with divine consciousness, you really shouldn't try to share it with an unready mind. They'll think you're desperate. They'll hear words from you like nothing really matters. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't get upset. They'll be upset with you. They will resent you. They will panic. They'll think you mean annihilation, but what you mean is freedom. That's why my book is called From Fear to Freedom. Freedom from the prison of the self, from the endless story of me, me, me. Yourself is not a fixed thing. It's a river. The river flows, but nothing is lost. That's what awakening shows. Not the end of self, but the dance of selflessness within every breath. After awakening, you understand that morality is not a rule. see all as one, harming another human being becomes as absurd as punching your own face. So you're not hurting other people because of moral codes, because of the Bible or the Quran or whatever other rules you have. You become kind and caring not because you should or you're afraid of some punishing God, but because you can't do it otherwise. Try telling people, I'm beyond good and evil, and they'll think you're dangerous. They won't see that your freedom is about compassion. So the wise people act humble. They smile at the world's rules and quietly follow them, not from submission, but just to have peace. The awakened one hides in ordinariness. They pay their bills, they wait in line, they laugh at jokes, they appear simple, but their simplicity is cosmic because they know that the universe itself hides behind ordinary things. Silence is not emptiness, it's fullness without edges. Every awakened being learns that real truth is transmitted not through words, but through presence. One look from a silent being can undo years of philosophy. Stillness teaches us without teaching. It speaks to the heart directly. Those around you begin to change, not because you talk, but because you have become a quiet reminder of what they already are. The greatest teacher might be the person sitting next to you right now, saying nothing. You'll only recognize them later, when something inside you begins to awaken and you realize their silence was the lesson. The awakened path has no direction, no map, no, I finally am successful at being awakened. You don't walk it, it walks you. The more you let go, the more it moves. And eventually you realize there never was a you to awaken, only awakening itself happening through you. You need to protect your realization from noise and from debate, from pride. It's not a trophy to display. Oh, I had a big awakening experience at the pyramids or at the Parthenon or some other magical site. If you overexpose it, it flickers out. Let it burn quietly inside you, warming everyone who comes near without having to explain. They will just feel your presence. Now let's talk about the ego. The ego says to you now that you've had your experience, you've had the enlightenment experience. But the moment you claim enlightenment, you cast a shadow. True light, true enlightenment simply shines. The more awakened you become, the less you want to speak. The sun doesn't say, I am shining. It just does. And so should you. You don't awaken the world by arguing about truth, about religion, about enlightenment. You awaken it by living as truth, by embodying calm in chaos, compassion in cruelty, and laughter in loss. That is the quiet revolution. And it changes everything, believe me. Don't share your awakening experiences. Be awakened. Be presence. Don't tell people what you found. Show them. Through the peace that doesn't need to prove itself. You are the mirror from which the universe sees itself. When others look into your eyes and feel peace, it's not you they're meeting, it's themselves. And in that recognition, awakening multiplies silently, beautifully, effortlessly, endlessly. In the end, there's nothing to hide and nothing to reveal, only the endless unfolding of what always was. You are not the awakener of others. You are awakening itself, the infinite, remembering its own name through the shape of a human life. So now I want to thank you for watching this episode of Agio TV. I'm your host, Alkistis Agio, coming straight from Greece into your life, into your phone or television, wherever you may be in the world. And I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel and write a comment below if you like what you saw and if you benefited, even had a shift of awareness during this video. Share this video with as many friends as possible.